Hello everyone. Today I'll be taking you through part 2 of my Rhino multiplayer game. I will be going through the chat system, the leaderboard system, and the timer function which I've implemented in my game. Firstly, I will show you our current score on the global leaderboard. At the moment it's 6 and we have the player ID from PlayFab next to it to show who's in the lead. What we will do in this video is aim to get higher than 6. Our personal best is also 6, but this section collects all the player data, which I will explain later in the video. We have now beat our high score and got 8 kills. So let's go back to the global leaderboard and check our new high score, which will be 8. The leaderboard updates the new score and we go to our personal best. Will also be 8, which saves all the player details, which will be explained later. So now we will move on to our chat system. I will show you how the chat system works in the multiplayer game. Any players who have joined a room which the host has created can communicate with each other within the chat panel. The player can enter and exit the chat panel before the match, while the matches happens, and after the match. The chat script takes the message that the user writes and check if it's within the input field, and then publishes the message to the chat UI display. As the match goes on, players can communicate with others. The chat system is fully functional. The next part is the personal best section. The player scores are stored in the player data script, which is then transferred to a text file after the player has done a multiplayer match. The text file in the project saves all the player data details like the player ID, the number of scores, the date the match happened, the room name, and the total number of players that was in the room. The player scores get updated to the networking monitor website PlayFab, where I have created a leaderboard to store the highest score and the player's username, which resets the frequency manually by the client, which is me. The next part, which I will talk about in my video, is the timer function. which I have implemented on my own. The timer function, which I've created, is an endpoint for my game. When the timer runs out after 2 minutes, the game over canvas will pop up, giving the option for the player to leave the game. Unfortunately, the player username cannot show due to time consumption. If the player gets the maximum kills before the timer runs out, then the timer will carry on and nothing will happen, but the game over canvas will pop up displaying the player username of who won the game. After the game, the player's current score doesn't get updated because the player has to get the set amount kills to win the game. After the timer runs out, the game over canvas will pop up as intended after reaching 0 seconds. If we go back to our global leaderboard, we can see that the leaderboard high score has not updated, and the leaderboard will remain as 8. And that is part 2 of my Rhino multiplayer game. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video.